Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let us continue our discussion on kinetics. See, we have learnt what is a kinetic diagram. When I have a rigid body, I have forces acting on it, and we call this as a free body diagram. Then I have summation of forces acting through the centroid and summation of moments acting through the centroid. This is the equivalent force couple diagram, which could be visualized as in terms of Newton's law F equal to ma, and we have learnt at length the moment is nothing but rate of change of angular momentum. So, I could visualize this as translation and a combination of rotation, and this is known as a kinetic diagram. See, what you will have to keep in mind is you are graduating from particle dynamics to rigid body dynamics. Particles do not rotate, whereas rigid bodies rotate. Even though I say rigid bodies now, I am essentially considering a planar situation, and we would also confine our attention to rigid bodies in general plane motion. That is very, very important. We have still not taken a rigid body of odd shape and then trying to find out the kinetics of it. We are taking baby steps. We have looked at particles. Particles do not rotate, and now we have taken planar objects, which are the rigid bodies. In addition to translation, it will also have rotation. That is the only difference. And take a moment about G, where G is the centroidal axis. Take a mass point and then label it is at a distance xi and yi, and find out what are all the forces acting on it. I have m into a, and in all our discussion in this chapter, we would have the angular velocity and angular acceleration perpendicular to the plane. Fine, very simple problem, graduating from particles to planar rigid bodies, or you can make an idealization as a planar situation, and we confine our attention to general plane motion, not a 3-dimensional complicated motion. It is only general plane motion. And you can easily write in the case of a rigid body, we have already learnt, if I sit on any point and view any other point on the rigid body, it would appear as if it is rotating about it. We had long discussions on that when we discussed the kinematics. On the basis of that strength only, I am able to write these components of forces. Okay. And I write the moment equation about G, and you invoke that we are working on the centroid. So, these terms go to 0, and I get a very elegant expression, summation of moment about G is Ig into alpha, where Ig is the mass moment of inertia, which you will have to learn. You must have learnt it already in your earlier courses. Please brush up. There are several theorems also. You have parallel axis theorem and all that you brush it up for this course again. I am not going to discuss that. And we will look at simple motions. You can have a translation. So, I have a force system, something typical like this. This would essentially make the object to translate. I have a kinetic diagram like this. the object will only translate. If I make the board as smart, the object will only translate. This is the simplest of the situations that you can think of. And what are the governing equations? I have F equal to ma and mg equal to I alpha equal to 0. I can also have it as Ig alpha equal to 0. So, I essentially have how many equations? If I put this into components, I essentially have 3 scalar equations. And what is the difference between statics and dynamics? In statics, right hand side was always 0. In dynamics, it is not 0 for translation. For translation, the rotation, the moment equal to 0. So, we would graduate to other simpler motions. We have initially looked at translation, and what was the next thing we learned in the context of rigid bodies? I can have a force system like this, and the rigid body also can have a motion like this. Carefully observe how the rigid body has moved. It had taken a curvilinear path, but it has not rotated about itself. It is a very subtle point, and you will have to appreciate that you can also have curvilinear translation. And when I have curvilinear translation, all my quantities are dictated by the path. So, it is easier for me to have a normal and tangential coordinates and express the forces like this. Okay. And what are the governing equations I have? I still have F equal to ma, and I also have the situation that rotation is 0. I can have a curvilinear motion, but it is a curvilinear translation. We would solve problem related to that, then you will appreciate this. Here again I have essentially 3 scalar equations, and it is desirable that you write F equal to ma in n and t directions. It is convenient for you to do the mathematics. In all the problems, you will also find how to choose the axis of reference for you to solve the problem. And in this chapter, we would say that by your kinematical analysis, you have got the absolute acceleration or accelerations from an inertial frame of reference, from a kinematical analysis. Once you have that quantity, then I can find out the forces. That is the way you have to interpret it. They are not relative accelerations, they are measured from an inertial frame of reference. And you have the fixed axis rotation. I have a axis fixed and this is rotating about this. So, I have F equal to ma, and if I remove this pin, you have to remember how do you idealize a pin joint. Pin joint can support forces in 2 directions. Okay. That means, you put the components in 2 directions, I have an arbitrary force. You have to recognize that. You should not forget how do you idealize a pin joint. So, I will have an arbitrary force acting at the pin joint. This becomes the free body diagram. I remove the support, and the kinetic diagram will be like this. This is the kinetic diagram. So, it has a rotation, and I have F equal to ma. Because I know the axis of rotation, I can find out the tangential and normal components. Scalar form of these equations are, I can also replace the acceleration into r omega squared. You know, in this book, anything referred to the centroid, we are putting a bar. R bar means it is referring the centroid. So, m r alpha, that is dictated by, I have the axis of rotation like this. So, I can write these quantities, and I also have mg equal to Ig alpha. And there is a word of caution while taking moment about g. When I take the moment about g, when I write the LHS of it, RHS you will not have difficulty, you will write Ig alpha. But when you want to write the LHS, you must also account for the forces at work. You have to be very systematic. So, the essential difference what you find here is, compared to statics, right hand side is non-zero in general. We are taking a baby step, moving from a particle to a planar rigid body. Okay, it is not a 3-dimensional rigid body having a general motion. We also say it has general plane motion or translation or the curvilinear translation or fixed axis rotation. We simplify the problem to the extent possible. You can also write the expression from a different perspective. So, it is easier to do it from a rotation axis O. I can also write this as M O equal to I O alpha. So, we can easily reduce it from the kinetic diagram. So, I have you have this parallel axis theorem, M O equal to I G alpha plus M A T R bar. So, I have this I G alpha M R squared alpha. So, I can put this as M naught equal to I naught alpha. In many problems, this may be easier to do. You can find out I naught. So, you should know how to get from I G to I naught, parallel axis theorem, all these fundamentals, please brush it up. You already know for area moment of inertia. You must also look at for mass moment of inertia. Those details I would not be explaining it again, fine. And if I have a fixed axis rotation about g, that is also possible. Then this reduces to mg equal to ig alpha. And then further I have this acceleration is 0 and hence f equal to 0. Okay. Then you also have a very interesting concept called center of percussion. In statics, we have already learned this. See, in statics, what did you learn? If I have to move the force to a point P2, I need to replace it by a couple as well as a force. Or in other words, if I have a couple and a force, I can also find out a suitable location, it is replayed only as a force. You have an equivalence of it in dynamics, where you have the concept of center of percussion, and we will see what it is. So, I have a point Q. One can identify the center of percussion point Q in a dynamic problem such that the resultant of all the forces pass through it and the moment about Q is 0. In fact, when people play golf, whatever that baton that they use for golf, their center of percussion is used. Okay. You need to have that knowledge of it. And I have this distance as q. How do you find out the q? From a fixed axis of rotation, that point q is located at distance q. This is very similar to the concept that you looked in statics, fine. Reverse of it, there we replaced a force as a force and a couple. Here I have a rotation as well as this, I make it only as a force, there is no rotation. So, I have mr bar alpha q equal to I naught alpha, I write the moment equation. So, I get q as I naught by m r bar. If I express I naught as radius of gyration squared multiplied by mass, then I have this, and I have the expression for q as k squared O divided by r bar. So, you can find out the center of percussion. It is useful in a class of day-to-day applications. It is nothing but reflection of the concept that you have already learnt in statics. Okay. Then we move on to solving problems. I have a interesting, okay, we also have a summary of useful expressions. I have f equal to ma bar, which could be expressed in terms of Cartesian coordinates, which could be expressed in terms of n and t coordinates. Also, it could be expressed in terms of r theta coordinates, but most of the problems we will confine to Cartesian and n and t. So, when I have this as a vectorial expression in component form, it could be written in a convenient fashion to solve your problem at hand. And we have also looked at, in the case of statics, what you learned, I can take moment about any point on the object or outside the object. So, you also need to have a via media. We have actually looked at from the angular momentum root and also developed about any point P also we have developed the equation. If I go back to that expression, I have a point P on the object now, and you must recognize that point P is not static, it is having an acceleration. But that acceleration you should know as absolute acceleration and handle this equation. So, whatever the conveniences you had in statics, you also have the same convenience in dynamics. We have got those expressions for you to use. So, I have this MP, if I want to take moment about point P, I have the expression Ig alpha plus m a bar d, and if you look at, these are all measured from inertial frame of reference. And there are simplified cases for this. I have a situation where there is rotation. So, this reduces to mg equal to Ig alpha. I have a fixed axis rotation, reduces to m naught equal to I naught alpha. So, in the subsequent problems, you will just play with these equations. Please understand, we have looked at 3 points. One is mass center, other is arbitrary point. Both of them can have acceleration. Understand this. Only the point O, which we have labeled as a fixed point, when you attach an axis to that, that becomes an inertial frame of reference. So, when we developed the equation, we have made our life simple, so that I could write moment about any point of my interest. So, I would choose, like in statics, I can choose any point. I have shown an arbitrary position P. I can choose an appropriate position, so that my mathematics is reduced. And remember that point P on the rigid body can have acceleration, but you should know the absolute acceleration. In other words, the acceleration measured from an inertial frame of reference for you to use these equations. Fine. Okay. To take up this problem, it is a very interesting problem, and you also have the animation to aid your thinking. See, consciously throughout this course, wherever possible, when we discuss a problem, I have made an effort to bring in what is it happening in the problem, which you should understand, so that you can translate it for solution. And you have to understand every statement of the problem. So, what it says is, I have a loaded grain truck of weight 2400 kilogram. It is lifted up by a mass m, which is an animation here. So, the label is not there, but you have the label put in this sketch, and you are asked to determine the maximum mass m such that the loaded cart will not overturn about the rear wheels. Here the labeling is done. The front wheels are put as A and rear wheels are put as B. So, you have to interpret this statement appropriately to solve the problem. Neglect the mass of all pulleys and wheels. For simplicity, neglect frictional effects. So, we make our life simple. So, do not bring in any friction here, although there is friction present in this problem, it is very obvious, and we neglect it for the purpose of simplicity. It is a very interesting problem. So, what is the kind of motion this cart is experiencing? Plane motion is a very general term. Among the plane motion, what is it that is experiencing? Because the simplest problem we have taken it up. It is essentially having simple translation, nothing else. Okay, so you are moving away from a particle dynamics to rigid body dynamics, starting with the simplest aspect of translation. Fine. Okay. Now, let us look at the other side of it. This is very interesting. Okay. So, I would like you to visualize how would you handle it in the context of dynamics. How will you handle it in the concept of statics, and how will you handle it in the concept of dynamics? You have an advantage. See, if it is in a problem of statics, you will simply say that I have a force acting like this, because it has to be balanced by this force. And I can also find out what is the tension. This is nothing but 2 times the mg. Nothing is moving. It is in a state of statics. When I say statics, this motion is not there. And in the case of dynamics, I have this motion. You have to visualize what way I would model, what all nitty-gritty details that you have to look at. That is why the animation is put. You have to recognize, this pulley is moving down with some acceleration, and what is the acceleration with which the mass is moving? Is it one and the same? Is the question clear? You have to visualize all that. You have to visualize when you analyze the problem. It is a problem in dynamics, so I have my right hand side non-zero. I have to put the appropriate mass into acceleration. Only then the equation of motion is complete. So, I need to know that acceleration. And what I have is, I can only say that there is tension in the cable. I cannot quantify it as 2 mg like what I could do in statics. That is number 1. And from the physics of the problem, this cart is moving up, the same string is coming down. So, I can say that this has some acceleration. Okay. But what happens to this mass? You look at here, what happens to this mass? What is the acceleration of the mass? So, it is 2a. You have to recognize that. See, the problem is simple. I have taken a simple problem and threadbare, let us analyze it, so that you do not miss out any details. See, my anticipation is you do not memorize the solution, understand the solution, so that you can attack any new problem. Logically, you can analyze what is happening to the problem, physically visualize what it is, then use your equations appropriately. Fine. So, that is the idea behind it. So, in a problem in dynamics, I will have to handle this kind of a diagram. I have to recognize things are moving, things are not static, that you have to recognize. And from a kinematical understanding of the problem, I should be in a position to find out this. The problem is so simple, so I can directly write what is the quantity. I do not have to do a kinematical analysis to get this quantity. Okay. Then when I analyze the truck, what is the axis that is easier for me? It is better that I take it along the inclined plane itself, x and y. Okay. So, here I write the basic equations. So, I have the mass acting on the centroid of the cart, and I can find out what is the component m1g sin 30, because this angle of orientation is 30 degrees. So, I can find out mass will be acting downwards. So, I can have the component here. So, that turns out to be 11.77 kilonewtons. Then I have the other component m1g cos 30 degrees, that is acting like this. So, let us go and complete what are all the forces that is acting on it, and also complete what are all the accelerations that is acting on it. Only then the problem is complete for you to write the equation of motion. So, we have done for the centroid. Now, when I go to this, I will have a tension acting on the string, and the geometry, it is not absolutely parallel. There is a small inclination, this of the order of 4 degrees is there, and we will also invoke as engineers. I will take the cos component, sin 0 is 0. So, I will neglect the sin component. So, I have a component T cos delta as the force acting there, and I also have T sin delta, but I would say sin 4 is so small. So, I can make this as 0 for all my practical analysis. And in addition, you also know from the physics of the problem, the cart is moving up. So, the centroid has an acceleration. Since I have put this as x direction, I put this as ax, and I put a bar to indicate the convention that we are dealing with centroidal quantities. Now, what is the statement in the problem? Cart will not overturn about the rear wheels B. How do you translate this into your expression? This is the statement that you need to understand and translate it into your mathematics. We have to look at the limiting condition. What should be the force interaction at B and what should be the force interaction at A? You do not want the car to tilt like this. Okay. So, that means what? In the limiting condition, the mass should be identified such that the force interaction here is what? That is 0. That is the limiting case. You have to recognize this. This is the meaning of the statement, the cart will not overturn about the rear wheels B. So, if you interpret this, then you have your diagram complete. Then it is simple mathematics, no difficulty at all. The challenge in this problem comes at 2 places. One is, how do you handle the mass here? How do you find out the acceleration? And how do you put the force interaction between the ramp and the wheels? If you understand these two, there is nothing more in this problem. It is fairly straightforward. Okay. Is the idea clear? Okay. So, what we are writing is, you have to recognize that Fx equal to m1 Ax bar. This is what is the difference between statics and dynamics. I can write down the x components. I have this are written here, that is equal to mass is 2.4. You have taken that 2.4, that factor you have taken, and then I have put this as Ax bar. So, where T is in kilonewton and Ax in meters per second square. Okay. And neglecting the T sin delta component, I can also write moment about point B, and moment about point B is what? It is an arbitrary point. We know the recipe, how to write the moment about this equation, is not it? You have this as like this, because I have this quantity, I can find out the moment about all of this. So, MAD. So, this is the distance d, and because this is a problem in translation, you do not have the Ig alpha component, that is 0. Okay. It is only a translation. So, this reduces to MAD. Okay. So, I get this is the previous equation I have got. I have 2 simultaneous equations. I can solve for the acceleration as well as the tension. I can solve for these 2 quantities because I have a simultaneous set of equations. Ax turns out to be 3.59 meter per second square, and your tension in the cable is 20.44. Okay. The problem is not complete because we have to find out what is the mass m. I have taken one reference axis for me to solve this. whatever you call it as car or cart, one and the same. And I have to analyze this portion of the problem. I already know what is the acceleration here, I already know what is the value of tension here. From a kinematics, I know what is the mass of this. Okay, what is the mass of this is also shown. So, we know that this is 2a and F equal to Fi equal to MAy. I write this as I have taken y as positive downwards. So, I have this equation goes like this. We already know the acceleration as 3.59 from the previous calculation. So, this gives me the value of the mass. Fairly straightforward. It is a very simple problem. Nevertheless, you should go in stages and understand what is the motion, how do you translate the conditions given in the problem as mathematical entities and solve the problem. Okay. Let us move on to the next problem. I would like you to observe. In fact, in one of the earlier classes, I have shown you an animation of this. The problems are similar. Here I have applied a moment, instead I have just put a load here. That was easier for me to do it experimentally, but from the motion point of view, it is one and the same. And you should recognize what happens to this object. That is the reason why I have given. If I give you a problem like this, you are left to your imagination what happens to the object. Now, I am giving you lot of aids. Not only this, I am also going to give you some more animations to aid you what is happening to this object. And write down this problem statement. You have a homogeneous rectangular plate of mass 30 kilograms, supported in the vertical plane by the light parallel links shown, and you are given the value of the couple that is applied, and you are asked to find out the force supported by the pin at C as the plate lifts off its support with theta equal to 30 degrees. This theta is 30 degrees is what is mentioned. So, the problem statement is fairly straightforward. So, in dynamics you will have to recognize what is the kind of motion the object has. I have given enough clue in the animation. The animation gives you a very clear indication. What happens to this body? Does this body rotate? There is no rotation about the body, fine. And let me also give you another way of looking at the whole problem. Okay. I have this object moving, look at this animation, the problem statement remains the same. To aid your thinking, I have put a initial state is like this in green, and finally it has gone to the position pink. You can see very well that this object has moved like this. See, my idea is that you appreciate the motion because of the way the object is constructed. Can you guess what is the kind of motion this plate is undergoing? Can you guess that it is, first of all, it is translation, fine. Is it a simple translation or is it a curvilinear translation? Okay. See, you will have to recognize, if you want, I have given you the animation, in an examination, I do not think I can give an animated question paper, okay. So, you will have to visualize based on your past experience in looking at problems, read the problem statement and interpret what way the object has a motion. Okay. To aid your thinking, I have also done one more requirement. What I have done is, see, this is a pin joint. I have a pin joint at C, D, B and A. The moment it is pin joint, you can replace it by, if I have a Cartesian coordinate system, I can replace it by two forces, because I do not know the direction of the force, I can replace it by two forces. Or if I take tangential and normal coordinates, I can replace it by 2 components. That you should be able to understand. I have taken this problem specially because it provides a bridge between statics and dynamics. The concepts that you learnt in statics, you have to revive it. Fine. So, any pin joint I can replace it like this, and it also allows you rotation. So, what happens to this point? See, these are parallel links. The links are parallel of same length. When I have parallel links, the clue is it has curvilinear translation. Suppose you find out the instantaneous center of rotation for this, it will be at infinity. That means what? The object is having a translation. Suppose I do not have an animated picture to aid your thinking, what way would you reason it out? You should first recognize that it is translation and then qualify what is the kind of translation it undergoes. So, when I have a link like this, it can only have a circular motion like this. For this, I will have a circular motion like this. It will go in an arc. And if I have point D, it will also go in an arc. And you know very well, we have discussed, if the velocity of 2 points are known in a rigid body, the complete story of rigid body is known. These 2 bodies have a curvilinear motion. So, the mass point also has a curvilinear translation. Okay. And we will do the FBD of the rectangular plate. And we have already seen, when I have a curvilinear translation, it is better that you look at the normal and tangential coordinates, is not it? We have already looked at that. We have taken a generic situation and I said I have the curve, put the normal and tangential coordinates. How do you locate the normal and tangential coordinate here? The clue is that I have the value of theta. Okay, that decides me how do I put it, that is at 30 degrees. So, I can have this to aid your thinking. This is the curvilinear motion that you have. So, it is tangential to that. I have this. This is the most important step of the problem. If you understand that the mechanism that I have shown introduces curvilinear translation and what is the axis you choose, half of the problem is solved. So, you should not rush at this stage. That is the most important step in this problem. And I have this mass into acceleration. Then rest all is very simple. And you have to go back to your statics and then see. We have learnt about 2 force member. You must invoke all of those. That is why the problem is so interesting and important. So, how do I put the FBD of the link? I have a pin joint. So, you know, this is at 30 degrees. So, I am taking the axis along and perpendicular to that. So, replace this pin joint by 2 forces, normal and tangential forces. And similarly, you have this, and I have followed the principle in statics. I have already assumed this. Once I assume this, this is fixed. Okay. Since I assume this, what happens in the other link is also fixed. And here at the end of it, I also apply a couple for me to lift. The only difference between the two is I have a force, but this is the animation I have. This is good enough to understand what way the plate will have a motion. Okay. So, FBD of link CD is like this, and you must be able to quickly use your earlier knowledge. Do you see what I am arriving at? Because we have simplified problems involving pin joints by recognizing them as assembly of 2 and 3 force members. Okay. In fact, I have also cleverly shown that only one force here, that comes from the strength that this is a 2 force member. The force has to be along the member, because it is a very linear member. So, this is the only way you can have a force for which this can remain in equilibrium, because this is not this is attached at point C and attached at point D. Okay. So, I invoke this, then my problem becomes much simpler, and it is considered massless. These are all the assumptions that we have made to make our life simple. Initially, plate is at rest, that is also you have to look at. When the plate is at rest, omega is 0 and normal acceleration is 0. So, one of the components go to 0, and I have this for link AB MA gives equal to 0 gives, I are in a position to find out what is the force FBT, that is equal to 250 newtons. Please check the arithmetic, if there are any differences bring it to my attention, and I have the sketch of the plate shown here for easy visualization. For rectangular plate, Ft equal to MAT, that is what you have to write, okay, because this has a translation. I have this, and when you substitute the terms, I am in a position to get what is the acceleration component AT, and MB equal to 0 gives a long expression like this. So, I have FDN equal to 207 newtons. So, I have FDN equal to FCN from the 2 force member. So, we have been able to find out the force in the point C, we have been able to find out. So, the challenge in this problem was first recognize that the plate has curvilinear translation. One easy way of looking at this is, if you have parallel links connected, invariably it will be a curvilinear translation. Your mini drafter is an example. Okay, mini drafter is an example where you have parallel links, but you have to look at the problem, visualize the motion, and also choose appropriate coordinate system. That is very important. Appropriate coordinate system is very important. And when I say this is a curvilinear translation, the links at that position itself forms the reference for you to write the coordinate system. These are all the learnings that you have from this interesting problem. Okay. And this animation has really helped, and beautifully you are able to see that this plate has no rotation about itself. Okay. Then there is another very interesting problem. See, packaging industry needs lot of mechanics, okay, and so you have a bottling plant. The bottles are transported in a cleated conveyor. That means you have steps like this on the conveyor, and then you have this bottles are going. Determine the maximum acceleration which the belt may have without tipping the bottles as it starts. You have some geometric details of the bottles. It says 70 millimeter, and the CG is located at 80 millimeter from the bottom of the bottle, and this is oriented at angle 20 degrees. And if I increase the acceleration, you will see in the animation that this acceleration vector becomes thicker and bigger. That means that acceleration is more. So, when you are having this, see, from production point of view, what they want to accelerate everything, they want to move it as fast as possible. If you increase the acceleration, you have a danger. You cannot increase beyond a certain limit. That is the essence of this problem. You can't have any acceleration of your choice just to increase your productivity. You cannot simply increase the speed. Functionality will be lost. So, you should know what is the maximum acceleration. Look at this, this is what the animation shows. When the whole thing acceleration increases, the bottles do not remain straight, they tip off. Okay. You may want to fill something in the bottle. So, now bottles will not be ready to hold the fluid. So, just to increase the productivity, do not blindly go and increase the speed, increase the acceleration. That is the essence of, first you have to understand what is the essence of the problem. in a book, it does not show you that the bottles are tipped like this. I have the advantage to show you and visualize to aid your thinking. When I increase the acceleration, it is natural to expect that this will tip, because the problem can be solved in few steps if you understand it correctly. And you have to go back to your tipping analysis. In the problem dealing with friction, we have looked at tipping. You have to look at the resultant force is at one of the edges. That is a limiting case. So, it is a very nice problem which is linking your statics and dynamics. You cannot afford to forget the concepts learnt in statics once you step onto dynamics. That is a message. Okay. I think what I would suggest is, why don't you think about solving this problem? We will continue with the problem tomorrow. Okay. So, in this lecture, we have looked at basic equations of kinetics of rigid bodies in plane motion. That is the key point here. You are actually graduating from particle analysis to rigid bodies, and we have the simplest of motions, the motion of the rigid bodies in a plane. Not only that, you idealize situations where the bodies also can be considered as planar. So, you learned this from simple translation to rotation possibility. Okay. And we have also looked at, like in statics, we have developed the equations in dynamics also, where I can find out the moment from any convenient point. So, you have the complete freedom to select the point at which you will take the moment, and you know how to write that expression. Whatever the quantity that go into that expression, you should have got from your kinematical analysis. From the kinematical analysis, you are expected to provide the absolute acceleration in those equations. Please remember that. The acceleration is measured from a inertial frame of reference. Thank you.